leave Rise open against Perks? Do you want to maybe give it to Xpeka?
It's a scary
himself
thought.
In an earlier rotation?
The answer is no.
So either now you leave Nidalee open, which is also no, then you give an Assassin over.
Any other questions?
I mean, you can still ban the last Assassin, which is the LeBlanc, and then again, pick a mid laner who does well into Zed. And we get to see one of the things we were looking at in the last game, like what happens when you don't early pick that jungler for Amazing and take the Sivir with the 280 carry bans. Trick now gets one of his favorite jungle picks where he can be even more aggressive in the early game.
It is straight up his style. That is exactly what he wants to play. It's kind of a more aggressive early game dueling Graves.
Yeah, and I think we might see Elise coming in as an answer from Amazing with Skirmisher's Saber into the Kindred and say try and match some of the early game power. Give a bit more ganking presence as well.
I love the Elise Braum here because Braum is actually a fantastic pick into, in my opinion, Kindred overall because you could shut down a lot of her damage in teamfights and still like annoy people with those concussive blows in the ulted. And now you can play a 1-3-1 Sivir comp with double TP with Lissandra if you want on the next rotation.
Yeah, you can go Lissandra Maokai as your next rotation. That's a very, very good composition for team fighting and more power in the early game as well.
Well, they do manage to lock that one in. The Braum goes over to Mythy and Amazing with his comfortable pick. I mean, there's a reason we call him the Amazing Spider-Man sometimes.
Do we?
Yeah. That's my name for him.
Oh.
Back when he was on TSM, that's what I used to say.
This is the other option. When you play Pekka, Lulu is there. It's his
obviously,
pick.
Back to the world.
Yeah, but if you do pick Lulu, I feel like we might just see Twisted Fate as an answer to it. Mythy making a bit of fun of his mid laner, who was not known as the greatest Azir player in the history of League of Legends.
That was a tough matchup for
He's
him.
plenty of time to practice. Let's talk a little bit about that Janna Caitlyn though. I think it's a very good answer into Sivir. It's rough if Braum gets to block too many abilities, but it's just an incredibly strong whittled down lane. And it outrages any advantage you can get from the minor Braum poke too. So it destroys Braum Sivir. That's a TLDR of that.
Yeah. So OG knows they want a lane swap.
They need a lane swap.
Straight away with this one. Another reason actually, if this Lulu gets logged in, I think Twisted Fate is a fantastic answer against it.
Oh.
There it is.
What you guys were looking for. Final seconds
Finally.
tick down, and we get the Lissandra lock in. And a Gragas too.
And the Gragas now can shift to top as a pick, and it's actually good into Kindred because it can mess up that Lamb's Respite and just really throw people off guard and maybe get a kill.
I think Maokai is a much stronger top lane pick though. Compared to Gragas, Gragas has some good things, like first of all you max W and you get good damage against some of these tanks in the small duels, but Echo is a great, we call him a tank killer as well, like in the 1v1 he can outduel most other tanks. We get the Lissandra we talked about.
I feel like Echo is that rendition of that April Fool's Lee Sin spotlight they one time brought out, like a hybrid mobile melee assassin tank.
Does a bit of everything.
Yeah, Ghost think we'll get to it.
So this is a matchup a lot of EU mid laners are not 100% confident taking the Zed into Lissandra, but I think Perks at this point is saying, first of all, Assassins, it's our style, it's how we want to play. And also against Pekka, Pekka is a weaker laner than Power of Evil. I think Perks is saying, you know what, I can take this matchup and I can win it.
Yeah, but one of Pekka's, like he kind of uses that weak lane reputation against him to make people kind of go over again and try and kill him, and then his team comes in for the 3v1.
Outsmart you.
For the 3v1 cheese ganks. You know, Febiven I think shared the same fate in the European LCS. The last time Fnatic and OG faced up against each other.
All right, guys. Well, it is all on the line here. G2 find themselves at match point, and Origen are one game away from getting knocked off by the newcomers. If you think they can do it and bring it back to game number 5, hashtag OG win is your call. G2 win, of course, being on the other side of the thing. They're all looking for that trophy, that spot at MSI, the prestige, the glory. We will have a new champion here in Europe, but who's it going to be? Are we going to find out this game? We'll have to see. Let's leave it on the Rift.
And I definitely like some of the changes for Origen, some of them. With the Lissandra pick coming in, giving him more early game punch, get Sivir as well for Sven, so you don't put him on an Ezreal, slow scaling. Elise to match some early game power of Kindred. And we are still in that situation where they are looking to scale up a bit because it's so much physical damage once more for G2 and NZ who runs out of targets late game.
Oh, I like this. So when Origen won the lane swap, they commit to invading deep on the top side and then just taking that lane over with a potential level 3 gank from Amazing if they get called on their bluff. But look at where Emperor and Hybrid are hiding right now. This is what I want to see teams do more. It's risky because it leaves you with less active members on the map, but you just hide your dual lane in the top lane. And unless OG go for the blind reswap bot, G2 find their favorable lane matchups.
It basically means you don't get any wards in the enemy jungle. When they invade in, normally you would just trade wards. And you would see if they went back to their own jungle and moved down to the bottom lane with the Sivir, with the Braum, and you would know, okay, they're on bottom side. You lose out on that. But they're really expecting expecting Origen to go top lane after not spotting anyone, and then Janna Caitlyn awaits.
Yeah, I almost feel like you should drop a random ward in your jungle when you do that. And now Hybrid's going to check in. This is dangerous, though. Walking into Mithy.
Oh, now they know.
Oh, Mithy sadly revealed himself here. So Hybrid, good timing here. Another zone. Oh, this is big. I feel like Emperor and Hybrid can drop a little bit of poke here, but they're really respecting the backup that can come in from Amazing at any time. So that's why they really don't want to drop low and just play the wave on wave for zone.
And they should have learned now from last game where Amazing took the red buff, did Raptors, did Crooks, and then went for an early gank on top lane. Now they know he's behind them, and they have to be a little bit more afraid of that or respect it.
That's why they're letting themselves be pushed in, because in no universe does Janna Caitlyn want to be pushed in. They want to be the lane that pushes in constantly, but they're afraid of that level 3 Amazing gank. So in essence, Origen have a backup plan if the lanes get called with that Amazing hovering on the top side. Soaz will pay the price for that with less pressure in the bottom lane though.
This is a very interesting mid lane matchup now. Zed does well if we take the first few levels in, but Lissandra will just push and push and push and nothing else. And then you get into that kind of good situation for Lissandra where you can go for an early hourglass, which you like anyway, but it's not ideal when it comes to your damage. Like ideally you want like Abyssal into say Morel Normicon and you're extremely strong, full cooldown reduction, a lot of damage. That will get delayed a lot. Abyssal is not really an option into Zed.
Mythis stepping on these traps on purpose. Early traps here for Emperor, so no 90 caliber net available just yet.
Well, that could be big too, as Amazing has been hanging out towards this top side. If G2 step a little too far forward, they might find themselves with a spider at their backs. Perks, a little bit more damage there, the Thunderlord's proc.
And again, we talk about Lissandra just trying to push the lane
Oh, he's
early.
got mid. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a quick flash.
Perks uses his shadow to harass Expected here, who's sidestepping a lot of the abilities. And then Amazing just walks in and kind of punishes that.
And now again, with Lissandra running teleport, when you have these early trades, if you force the potions off the enemy mid laner, it is so much better for you, because you can then push out recall and just quickly return to lane with your first teleport, and he has to then recall and slowly walk back, and he falls even further behind in farm and experience. You're probably not going to see Expected try and kill the Zed 1v1, because Maul will be the first item for Perks, of getting that early MR and shield. But again, it's about Origen playing the 1v1, matching it, and then setting up these team fights, more than trying to one-on-one a Zed. That's not the goal with this composition from Origen.
Definitely not. Things staying relatively quiet and even compared to the bloodbaths that we've had in games 1 through 3. G2 just want to keep these lanes on a-going. Mithy and Sven have had a little bit of a hard time, but they do manage to have themselves, or pick themselves a farm advantage for the time being. It really does trade back and forth though by minutes.
Actually surprised Emperor is really using his Q at all in this lane. Generally when you see Caitlyn Janna face off against Sivir, the only way you poke Sivir is if you get her spell shield on cooldown and then you poke her again. But the amount of mana you return to her, you kind of get traded on again. So it's generally a better option to just not use any spells on her whatsoever and let her go out of mana. That's why these random cupcakes on the lane are just giving Sven so much free mana overall.
I think we just saw G2's bot lane try and play a lot safer in the start and saying we can just go aggressive after the first back. We get to see Expected keeping back to lane as we mentioned earlier. Perks had a good recall himself, got triple longsword, extra potion, didn't really lose a whole lot from this.
Nope.
And now it's just about, do you get level 6 first on the Zed, then you can all in, but once there's 6 on Lissandra, you can't really do anything. Or just try and poke her off the tower. And then you always have to respect enemy jungler showing up, because Lissandra stun into a cocoon from Elise, Zed dies.
Perks will definitely be well acquainted with that one. Of course, it may not slow down the bloodlust he has been exhibiting this whole series on all those assassins. Mithy stepping up forward down the pushback. Emperor, he does take a lot of damage after the Unbreakable is popped, but the Zephyr on him a lot more, and Emperor exhausted. They need one more, and Trick comes out of nowhere, but Mithy with a quick flash away.
Heal used by Sven, flash used by Mithy.
I mean, face a flash on the jungler. Mithy's really good at holding his flash until the absolutely latest moment necessary.
We see the play around mid lane. 6 now for Pekka, he's going in.
Bitsy Spider, and Perks is going to creep himself away. Peke with the serious farm advantage as well, with a lot of help from Amazing patrolling in that mid lane. Perks has really not had a whole lot to be able to do.
Again, it's just about Lissandra constantly pushing it up and having that threat of an enemy jungler showing up with Lissandra's own CC to get that one kill. Emperor right now.
There's the net.
But we have to credit Origen.
Okay.
They've outplayed G2's bot lane here 2v2. In a matchup that they should lose, whittle down poke, whether it's due to Emperor making some mistakes in skill usage, or Mithy just really understanding that he has to walk forward. So often we'll see Mithy walk forward almost like recklessly to get those procs off just for zone. We'll get to back later
Another
here.
gank mid.
Another gank mid.
Yep, Amazing is right back, and there's the Frozen Tomb. Teleport coming in, but it may be too late. Amazing! No, that's going to be Perks going in, but Perks going down for first blood, and Peke staying alive. Kick is too late to the party. Tries to take a swing, but he misses at Amazing.
And I'm so happy to see Origen continue trying to gank this mid lane. We hype it up a little bit, how you can shut down the Zed with double CC between Lissandra and the Elise, and they tried again and again and again. No flash from Perks. Great setup here. Peke even managed to clear out the last caster minion that was blocking the cocoon with his Q.
He's very afraid that Amazing would try and like curve the cocoon around the minions, but good patience there. And yeah, the synergy between Peke and Amazing coming back, because this is something we don't usually see when Amazing goes for ganks for Power Revo.
Definitely not something we see often, but Amazing likes to camp for Peke instead.
Yeah.
Also,
He knows he'll get a raise.
of course, Origen always talks about how Peke is very vocal as well in the lane. He will tell you, okay, we can keep ganking this, we can eventually get that stun onto him with my ulti, and then you can follow up. And they're confident in the calls coming from Peke, and very, very good start. And one of the reasons we like this Lissandra being picked blind by Peke, so the Zed becomes a lot riskier to play from Perks.
It's a visible change, and G2 just do not seem up to the same standard so far. It is still very early to tell.
8 minutes in, Pyro.
I'm going to make a bold claim, I know.
A tough man to play.
But this Lissandra has come up absolutely massive so far. It has had a lot of help from Amazing. Perks, however, he's going on a roll.
Yeah. When you play an Azir into the Zed will try and just shadow out of your Azir ulti. Can't do that against Lissandra.
See the evolving of a pick and ban here. Now Trick coming in to look for Sven. That's a quick flash away as the teleport comes in from Soaz. Throws the big barrel, knocks Trick back into this one. Lamb's Respite is forced. And now Origen are going to back away. They can't keep fighting this one. Soaz now having to burn his own flash, and Mithy standing behind, or rather standing in front. And Perks is caught out by Peke. Get off my lawn.
Yeah, he was trying to run up to top lane to join the fight. Then suddenly realizing Elise and Lissandra were behind him, and then no way out for Perks. Another flash being used. Died twice already. Why not just gank that mid lane one more time?
Amazing, looking to make more impact here.
Trick's got no mana. Kickus, meanwhile, is free pushing on this bottom side. There's no reaction available.
Yeah, he needs to get something back here because the top side of the map is being lost. Power Evil, whoever that is, weighs in with some opinion. They did win the draft.
It's good.
Yeah.
He's able to take a back seat for this game and just watch out all in.
All jokes aside, I think it's fantastic that the synergy and kind of the approach OG have had towards the season with Power Reveal and Expect It. See a dive though, so we'll get back to that later.
Yep, G2, 3 of them caught in the middle, and instantly Trick just getting blown up. They take themselves another as well. Double kill over to Amazing. They grab everything, and they get out.
It's just fantastic use of this Lissandra Elise combo. Everything starts in the mid lane. Once you start winning the mid lane, you can roam to other lanes, take your advantage, give it to the bot lane, give it to the top laner. This case is just Perks being caught up, but again, Zed is not running a global. Lissandra will run the global, so once you've shut him down in lane, use that global to snowball other lanes. It's just a great setup by Origen, pushing in, and it's one of those plays where G2 are probably calling already, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that's why Trick is already on the tower, but there's no response.
And ironically, that used to be G2 style. They give you a place and they tell you, well, this is exactly what's going to happen. Either you defend this tower and you die doing so, or you give it up to us and we'll take it anyways. And
like right here, it's already called by both teams.
But the mistake has
going
been
to
made.
happen.
Everybody knows that this is going to play out. Maybe one kill can be traded, but just a really good opening. Amazing gets a turret aggro. This is the only thing you need to guarantee when you're diving and you have an Elise on your team. Let Elise go first. Reset the aggro. That means 3 free shots that you can take. And a very clean dive. And honestly, Amazing and Expect It as a team have been doing well, but it also just, you have to give credit to Sven and Mithy playing, in my opinion, a rough matchup and beating it. Sivir Braum should not be able to go even CS against Janna Caitlyn, because then the value from those pick is completely undermined.
I'm still looking at this Zed. into Lissandra. I think it's Perk saying he's confident playing the lane and he can outplay Pekka. But it's not just Pekka you're playing against, it's also amazing.
Yeah, the scores tell the different story, and Perks has to. Living shadow to relative safety. But look, Amazing's already here yet again. And the CS starts to tell that story too. Kikis is the only one who's really been having a better time with it, but that's because Soas has been getting involved in the teleporting and moving around the map a little bit more to take out that tower in the bottom side. But that's all G2 have really been able to answer for in this one. 1,000 and some change is the lead for Origen at 11.5 minutes.
And a Caitlyn who loses lane will have
not a good
15 minutes of being completely useless until 2-3 items are completed and you have some impact, but then you need like 4 items to become a big carry.
Yeah, you need somebody to walk in your traps then too.
So you need so much time now as a Caitlyn. Oh, Soas.
Yeah, he does have the Chrono Breaker, and he uses it. Hybrid and Mythy knocking each other up, but Hybrid does not have the stats to keep alive in this one. He's going to have to burn his flash and his ultimate, but Emperor does find an opening here. Sven, he's very low. In comes Kikis around the backside. Time Winder moves it, lines it up, not even needed with the ace in the hole, and Kikis goes hunting. Reset on the ace, they get Mythy, more damage. Time Winder unbreakable, or is it? He's going to go down. That's a double kill for the top laner of G2.
Honestly, Kikis has been playing very well this game. Dodge with the ulti from Perks.
Oh, trying to stay alive in this one. Amazing. He's ignited Perks, and the spider goes up, the spider goes down. Perks turns around, but Peke puts him in a tomb.
And that's the thing, right? You can't dodge the ulti at first, but where are you going to go? There's no flash if you're Perks because you used it twice and still got ganked right after. And the 2v2 is great for Origen in the mid lane with Amazing and Pekka. But that was a great response from G2.
It's a 2v1.
Oh, sorry, the 2v1. Yeah, that was unfair. Perks is alone here.
We've been seeing Trick in all these previous games, especially in the standard lanes, just kind of camp it out for Perks, but it's just tables have turned in this one. Let's see how this 2v2, though, happens up top.
Great play by Hybrid here. Understanding that.
I mean, he almost dies, though. Lucky he has dust available.
I just like the fact that he doesn't flash instantly. He actually buys more time for his AD carry, then flashes when he knows the stun is landing. And Kikis, who just had a fight in bot lane.
Yeah, Kikis played this really well. Just small things of where he positions his Q and makes sure he takes out the escape path so that he still has flash available to now chase Mythy. And yeah, Janna lanes are generally just letting your AD carry 1v2 as best as he can and being a nuisance. Hybrid did that well. Perks here, remarkable effort, but look at Pekka. He's just hovering. He's constantly clicking R, ready on Perks, just waiting by the ghost, and both of them were very calm and collected in that dive.
Yeah. So much for weak laning phase. He does have a lot of help, but 4-0-2 is a very respectable score on the board. Now Kikis and Soaz want to bop at each other, but Amazing. He's just all over the map this game, and he looks for a hunting trip. Dodging out of the cocoon with the Chrono Break is Kikis, and there is Peke teleporting in the backside. Kikis knows he might be in a spot of trouble right now and keeps trying to stay alive. Barrels are flying. Kikis throws the convergence down, but it might be a little too late as the cocoon catches him, and Amazing claims another.
Dancing around a lot, Kikis. Luckily for him, it didn't give another assist over to Pekka. So went down in the end, and now Lissandra is back towards the mid lane. There's still TP for Soaz. Mythy's roaming down as well to try and stop
Teleport on.
tower from dying.
This is Soaz. He's going to burn this one to come back in. No, he cancels at the last moment.
Bait. He just wanted them off tower.
And moved him off.
Successful roam from Mythy as well, forcing them off. And
false alarm. And now they got a dance off. Good dodge skills. Hybrid rejoins Emperor back up top, throws the shield on him. And they continue this 2v2 that really didn't go how we expected. 20 CS.
Yeah, and if you're wondering where that tier 1 for Origen or for G2 went down, it went down during one of the replays. That's one tower up here. Now they can actually push in that Zed even farther. Set up for the rotations. One of those rotations could be a dive on the bottom lane.
And he might have walked himself into a trap. He gets hit up by the body slam. Frozen Tombs on, and he doesn't stand a chance as Soaz claims him. And Trick comes in to try and defend way too late.
Man, G2 has zero respect for Pekka and the way he's roaming around the map. First, the dive on top lane, where he got 3 kills for his team. Kikis then walks bot lane, uses everything to get back into the minion wave, and has no backup ready.
And this is a team that has done this exact strategy so often with double TP lanes and 1-3-1 composition, so they know the play pattern that is push up mid and roam bot and dive. And they just seem to be not respecting the counterplay, or they're just flustered. They did not expect the game to kind of play out the way it did.
Definitely getting surprised on this one. G2 with the blind aggression are getting over and over thoroughly punished here, as 3,000 is the gold lead for Origen, who look to stay alive and force the game at number 5. Let's see if they can do it. G2 with a push on the top side. Sven clearing the wave out with the boomerang blade, and Emperor's got to back away. Meanwhile, Dragon started for Origen.
And it's just very, very good use, again, of a winning mid lane matchup. Why, if you play side lane, so much is about your mid lane still. Like, if he's having the pressure in mid and he can roam first, you can start pushing up to towers. You know he can join in, you know he can set up tower dives. If your mid laner is behind, on the other hand, he relies on either one crazy teleport play, or just like constantly calling where the enemy mid laner is going, and you have to play really passive.
Much higher impact from Amazing too overall in this game on this release. Whether it's the champion or being back with Expeke and having kind of like two voices direct to jungle pathing, regardless of why it happened, he's just been involved in nearly every gank so far, just as Expeke has. There's only been that one kill where he did not get the assist. Massive pressure here from
the Herald fight.
Origen.
That's a big glacial fissure. Herald's going to reset back into the pit. 17 minutes are getting close to elapsing here, and Origen are going to turn around and be able to pick this one up.
Yeah, but look at G2. They're posturing for a team fight here, which is not what they want to do with the Zed at this point in the game, but they're kind of stuck.
Problem for G2 is there's no real play to make where Origen won't have a response. Like, blocking all the damage of the ulti there.
Just
you are amazing.
now, amazing.
Yep. Didn't goes up high and Tim, but again, that's the problem for G2 is there's no aggressive play to make that OG can't respond to, either by taking a tower on the other side or being ready with a counter gank. Because teleports are soon ready.
They're trying though.
Kick is trying all into tower.
Oh, there's the tomb. He does manage to get most of his health back with the chrono break, and he turns for Peke now, but he does not want to fight that fed Lissandra. Mithy coming down in hot pursuit. He'll back off and Kikis gets away.
And right away, Origen is on top side now, pushing in on this tower. It's a good play from Kikis. Again,
playing well.
He's being very annoying on this Echo, and it's kind of been G2's only way to really get anything. Both look at kills, but also him getting a bot lane tower. The Zed, you can't really move him anywhere, because if you move him top, well, Peke is going to go up there with an hourglass and say, I'm not going to kill you. We're just going to sit and hit each other, and there's always the threat of my jungler, or me TPing to the other side of the map and taking a team fight.
Yeah, and just insta-locking the Zed blind. We talked about how it's bad in this particular matchup, but if there's one player that you kind of don't want to do that against, looking at the history of League of Legends, it is kind of expected because he used to be a phenomenal Zed player overall too, so he kind of knows all the weaknesses of the champion too, the early gank timers, because they haven't changed over the years. Back in Season 3, you could shut down a Zed early. Season 4, you could shut down a Zed early. Speke knows this. Amazing's been around for a while, and they gave Perks the textbook answer to an oversell Zed pick.
Yeah, and if you're Origen now, you split up into 1-3-1 as well. You have TPs ready. Peck in one lane, Source in the opposite. Put Sven on wave clear duty in the mid lane. The joy of every AD carry. Sit there and push. And then you just start basically holding hands as a team, and you move all three lanes up at the same time. And if anyone goes for a gank on any of your members, you should be able to respond. Because you have double TP, and you have to push in the lane. They're actually letting Kikis right now just push on bottom side because it's an inhib tower he's going for.
Yeah, they're just looking for a force dive here in the mid lane. Peke on the flank, left side, looks for Ice Claw, come out.
Nate take that one too deep, but this is going to be the tower started here. Trick trying to zone them off. They still got a few more mini waves. That tower's already down to half health, and they knock Trick back in and pop him on up. Can they take him out? Yes, they can. Before he can even get the Lamb's Respite on. That is a quick one for Origen, and the slow-moving Kikis coming up to the top and trying to keep it alive. But Peke puts Emperor in the frozen tomb, and he gets an unstoppable kill. Perks around the backside, does not have the damage to snipe out Sven. And Kikis just comes way too late to do a damn thing. 2 kills for Origen. They stay in the middle, they stay on Kikis, and they get him down to half health. They just keep on pushing and chugging away. 20 minutes on the clock, and this is getting pretty big for OG.
Origen just focused on 2 lanes because they were so confident they could just force a dive and go straight in.
Peke pops his Zanya's hourglass. Kikis waits to shut him down. It's Perks who finally picks up the kill. Amazing, chased out by Kikis. Can they get the last shot? No, because Soaz threw his considerable weight in the line of fire.
OG went for the jackpot here, saying we can dive mid. We can just take this big team fight, pick up multiple kills and then take tower. But it did give G2 a chance to respond because they couldn't do anything against the 1-3-1. But in a team fight, while this is a great start from Origen, it gives again G2 a chance. Not a big one, but a chance at least.
Ooh, Emperor kind of 90 caliber's net straight into the corner here to the lane path.
Perks nearly got Sven on that one. It was real close, but
yeah, I feel like Emperor should be able to avoid the frozen tomb there though. If you use both flash and 90 caliber, you still get in range of an Ice Claw. I think you made a mistake here, so just make a good job at finding an opening, but we're seeing some mistakes creeping to the play of G2 here.
I just don't think you had to all in mid here. Again, I think you could just play with double TP on side lanes. But again, G2 or Origen felt like they could go for that one play. They could dive in and get the kill.
Already right back to the action.
They got 2 kills at first, so it looked fine. They're still back with his mid tower because it's so low now.
Yeah, Perks is also quite low. He can't really stick around and keep the fight going. A lot of damage being dealt and a lot of minions being slain. Back and forth, Hurricane procs and everything just keep on applying. Sven trying to clear away Caitlyn traps, but they get placed down just as quickly here. Slow war of attrition, or maybe not so slow. We're just only 21 minutes into this one, and Kikus just keeps trying to chase them down, but keeps getting pushed back and stunned up.
G2 has to make sure they don't get baited by this tower here. Because it is very low, and it's just a few hits from Origen and dies, and then a full-on team fight with no tower. So I like also Origen playing a bit safer, pushing in on top side, using the teleport. And they know, again, if someone steps away from this mid tower, Sven will take it down.
I mean, I wonder if there's any value in Perks just trading his ulti for Expected at this point. In terms of team fight
I think
impact.
Tekla will just outlast.
Yep, and there was the ulti.
Worst case for Peke, if he's the man engaging and locking down Emperor, he just outlasts himself.
Yeah, that's the tower, and they managed to get a knock up onto Hybrid now, so they will get away. They didn't want to chase the kills after the fact, but Trick does indeed want to do that himself, and now Perks just comes out of the woodwork. They start chasing him down, but the barrel disengage will mean they have to back off of that one. Peke still pushing the waves in relentlessly up to the top side. Origen just keeping this slow burn.
I think slowing down here though, because Origen is neglecting kind of the setup from his place. Playing a 4-1, not really a 1-3-1. Going for an early cash out instead of just playing the long con. Putting pressure in all 3 lanes at once. It is a little risky when you play against some heavy assassins that you can get lost in those rotations and kind of get caught off guard. But it's still the preferred play. I mean, you're playing with 2 teleports versus 1. Why not lean on that? You know, why not leverage that to your advantage? It is understandable. Teams feel more comfortable in making the map small, especially when they have a lead, because they feel they can just rely on doing improper play with a lead. It kind of makes it okay again.
And again, just Origen saying, we can dive mid here. If they try and defend, we dive, we take the team fight. Ideally, we get 2 kills, or 3 kills, we take tower then.
Yeah.
And we suddenly got everything.
I mean, Keegan's becoming a menace, though. He gets like a QSS at one point. He can really dive into the enemy backline, because look, if you look at Origen, if Kikus is jumping on Sven, he's gonna just be tanking a lot of the peel that is magic damage. If Sven has to run for his life, he can't really return that much damage. Maybe just wreak havoc, you know, stack MR, just be a nuisance.
Oh, I think Trick
Accidentally.
managed to take away.
I think it's almost better on Trick at this point.
We're seeing mistakes out of both sides here, and this has been a little bit of a wonky game as a result of it. Origen, they're hanging on for dear life. They cannot afford to lose this game, or the Spring Split title's gone.
I mean, I think we've seen a game where a lot of the plays actually were the correct play, especially in the early game when it came to ganking the mid lane a lot and then setting up the dives top with your Origen. So they had some very good plays. It was just obviously just the last few minutes where everything has slowed down a little bit because it didn't invest into the 1-3-1 and opted in for that fight. But at the same time, that fight was so close to just being 2 kills for Origen and a tower, and it would have been great. And then it would have been basically game over. So can't really fault them for the decision they made.
I don't think any of these teams is making, aside from maybe the deadlock in pick and ban, any crazy mistake when it comes to the rationale behind their plays. It's just the difference between, you know, 1 extra skill shot landing or not can be another 5 minutes in the game or just straight game over.
Balancing on a knife's edge here. This is 825. This one, the tides have started to turn. And so as backs away.
I just love that music. When everything is serious and you're playing for like a championship title, Global Gragas, go play your song.
As G2 keep pressure on this top side. Origen keep trying to get the vision around the Baron as well. And teams, I have a feeling they're going to start playing a little bit more towards him. But it is going to be no early starts this game. That should be a bit of a difference, unless G2 just find a huge opening that Origen have not been leaving.
I mean, step 1 for Origen is always push the 2 lanes around Baron and then get into the enemy jungle and actually place up some of these deep wards we always see. And then you have the river control by just leaving 2 or 3 pings, as we can see 1 at Baron, 1 in the bush right next to the mid lane where Sven is right now.
And then the anti-TP pink, they've placed there too.
and you just wait out these blue trinkets, and at some point G2 will have to move in and try and place a ward over the Baron, and then double TP in behind with Gragas and Sandra, and a team fight is on. So this trade 1v1 doesn't really matter anything, it's just Source pushing up the wave, and he wants to try and stop Kikis from clearing it out. And then, again, you just get these deep wards in around the enemy red buff, you wait for him to invade in to stop that potential Baron, and then you get your team fight against the Zed.
Adaptation from Origen though.
I like
Going
this.
for rotation in the bot lane.
Yep.
Wanted to shut down the one teleport that G2 have.
I really like this from Origen because you know the Zed cannot join. As long as Zed cannot kill Lissandra, this is good for Origen.
It's not happening right now. Peke just realized he can take it. He's going to turn for perks, and that pops the Maw Malmortius. Peke, though, does take a heaping helping of damage on the back of it. Meanwhile, Trick takes out Mithy.
Wait, what happened?
G2 down in the bottom side. Get a double kill for the Kindred.
Man, so the idea was actually smart from Origen. Peke tried to even back away top, saying, okay guys, go all in bot lane, I will TP down, and we have a 4v5. But the calling then from G2 is, okay, they're gonna make this TP play. Perks, you have to all in the Lissandra. You have to just all in so she cannot TP away. So he follows, takes the all in, keeps Peke in lane, and then the rest of Origen was expecting the Lissandra to join. Suddenly, it's a 4v4, and G2 catches them out. So really smart shot calling, honestly, from both teams.
All right, but what can they do with this right now? Mithy's already going to be back up. We'll take a look at how this happens.
Like at this point, they're like, oh, we're just gonna chase for one kill, and then we always have TP.
I mean, look, no, amazing right now.
Oh, he's just staying on blue.
That this play is free. So in Origen's mind, they're making a rotation that G2 can't defend, and they thought that Kikis was just buying time, but they did not expect, I think, all these members to walk through the lane outside of vision, because we had some really decent, like, deep vision from Origen, but they did not have the lane warded. So while Amazing was doing blue buffs, he got completely caught by surprise.
And that was the thing, right? Origen did not expect G2 to all in for a fight, because then TP would happen from Lissandra and the fight would be over. So they're like, okay, it's only one guy buying time, we're not gonna go down there.
Yeah.
But obviously G2 is making the whole, like, keep Lissandra busy with fighting, top perks, take the 4v4.
And they're closing the gold gap, or keeping it the same distance while the average gold in the game increases. So the relative impact of a 3k gold lead, 2k gold lead goes down. Right now, it doesn't really mean that much. We have to look, obviously, at compositions. But
Peke is strong. 3 items now. Again, get these deep wards from Origen. Set up that double TP play in the jungle when G2 is coming in to try and ward off the Baron.
and any action, hang on, G2.
Yep, in comes the Braum. Mithy trying to defend all this one, but G2 had pulled the trigger, and once again, they do not release. Origen on the retreat path, but Mithy takes the Death Mark proc, has to burn his flash. He will stay alive for now. Perks in the front line, taking a little bit low, but Kick is trying to cut them off from the backside. Peke, he is just caught. Puts the Doom on himself for the moment, but the Monsoon will keep G2 healthy for just a few more seconds, and Peke is slain as the rest of the team amps crates.
Yeah, Soas just arrived into that fight because he was stuck in the bottom lane with no teleport. So he walked over, I feel, unless he teleported into a bad ward.
No, he canceled the teleport.
Okay, because he was stuck in the bottom lane.
Right, exactly. And the fight had already moved away from where he was TPing too, so he cancels it, walks all the way up, and then Peke in the end. Buys time, but obviously no follow-up.
They flash right on forward, though. Amazing. He's going to go right into the Baron pit to just try and get away
Yeah,
from
that's the
this.
second time we've seen Trick go for an aggressive flash that didn't really pan out, but he also started that engage by being super aggressive. Perks then uses ultimate on Mithy, basically using Mithy as a vessel to get deeper into the team fight. Buying time, and Kikis came in with the winning flank. For me, Kikis has been the reason that G2 isn't dead in the water yet in this game. He's been fantastic at stalling the game, whether it's through split push or some duels. Let's see what happens here. TP.
The rest of the team has already ran away here because Sven is so low. So the call from Origen is to disengage, cancel teleport, and then it's just a chase where in the end Peke has no flash to get over the wall. Will end up just trying to buy time, really. See Source at your minimap now, just around mid tower.
We can see the value from this Lissandra about how much time she can buy in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, not for that, it might have been a lot worse for Origen on that one. In G2, they hesitated, but now they once again turn their attention Baron side.
They built themselves a wall.
Wall of Caitlyn traps. Let's see if it buys them enough to make their team fights great again. 2,500, 1,800, 1,700. This is going to be a smite fight. Who's it going to go to? It's picked up by the Caitlyn. Emperor grabs it. We've seen that one happen before, but on this side, it's a bit different. Now G2 need to beat the retreat. Can they get away? They've lost the trick, but do they lose this fight? Kick is slowed down. Can he get back to base? He's going to dash away, but stunned up by the Braum. Turns back in. 2 members down, but G2 secure Baron.
Such an insane Baron play by G2 with everyone alive from Origen. Against Alessandra as well in that Baron pit.
That was like a 20-80 positive outcome. Because even when they get to Baron, they still end up losing because they're 5 against or 3 against 5 right now on the side of G2. Getting more cupcakes coming out, but very well be one tower going down here.
You eat
don't
some
have
very
tools
weird
to deal with
cupcakes, Prepper.
Some Z zoning. This is a little bit strange for sure. The inhibitor tower is going to get fired down. It took them a little while to do it. They just kept getting harassed by the Janna, the Zed, but they do manage to get that tower and get out.
It's the only way to lose weight, man. Cupcakes that bite your tongue. You only eat them once. Suddenly those delicious cupcakes are omitted from your diet.
That's definitely one way to do it.
I'm sad we missed the start to the Baron play because of the replay we had
Watch it again.
before.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, but even the setup where G2 felt like they could go for it because all of Origen is around now. And like, it is so lucky the Emperor gets it with an auto attack. In the end.
Calculated.
They still lose 2, lose mid tower as well.
Yeah. They do get a dragon though, as you can see on the bottom of your screen. G2 still managing to nab objectives here and there. They just are not able to straight up 5v5 fight out this Origen squad who are hell-bent on staying alive here.
And late game, like for G2, it's so much about Emperor on this Caitlyn. What can he do? And of course, Kick is sitting in the back line. Perkz right now is just trying to draw attention. Really, in these fights, he's
I mean, right now.
always.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Perkz has been very slowly creeping and crawling back into this one. 2-3-0, I mean, he had such a rough laning phase. He's still able to get a little bit done, picking up a few spare kills. This is going to be maybe not a tower yet. Peke's still threatening, but look at Perkz around the side, just trying to be a deadly force. Gonna get stopped up for just a second by Soaz. This tower just keeps taking heavy fire. But Trick, he had the tomb on him. He's managing to put the Lamb's fight out. This will be enough for the heal. The Janna Monsoon as well. It's like they can just reset these fights again.
They're still very low. Pirate Trick is almost down at this point. Had an early QSS, called early with 32 minutes, and had a QSS. Used it and popped his own ulti, but they're still pushing.
They got teleported in from Kikis. Now Peke is going to have to Glacial Path his way away as Mithy stepped in front to block the ace in the hole. This might be an inhibitor tower. Trick on the bottom side. G2 are pressuring this.
Kikis just ultied back though. He walked in to try and zone OG off the tower and just allow the Caitlyn to start hitting this turret. Instead, everything seems to reset. G2 gets another tower and it is so even in gold.
Yeah, and that value from the Frozen Tomb obviously is going a little bit downwards in the later stages of the fight when it comes to bursting down single targets. So it's at this point of the game that the Peke will be exclusively self-casting it. Pretty much go in, self-cast, get out, W Zonias, buy time, while they try to tear to the front line. But with Janna to reset these fights, or Kikis' ultimate to get back out of the fights, OG can't really focus down a frontliner that easily.
And we talked earlier about how Origen wanted to buy enough time to make the Zed useless in fights. Well, obviously, if we go even later, then the Caitlyn becomes extremely strong. Kindred as well will be able to save together with the Janna, keep Emperor alive in these fights, unless Soaz can get a beautiful ulti to knock him out of it, single out that one guy. Has the QSS as well for that flash body slam that will happen.
Yeah, he's not the only one. I mean, 3 QSSs on the side of G2. They're really respecting the hell out of it now if it didn't kill him before.
Yeah, 3 Mercs, 3 QSSs, a Mikael's being built. So this Cocoon, the Soundware combination, definitely losing some value later in the game.
Yep.
But it's done its job. Like if you look at the
definitely.
early
This game should have been over by now. Yeah, closed down beautifully.
Origen has not really been able to commit to 1-3-1. And whenever they did, it was either a little bit too late, or G2 had an answer ready, which surprised Origen clearly, if you look at that bot lane fight that happened.
Yep.
And at this point, you need to really watch out in team fights for some of the backline members from Origen looking too high on their screen and kind of walking on a trap by accident, because that gives Emperor access to just a free headshot of maximum range, which is incredibly big overall. And if that crits, it can change the tide of the entire fight, because then it can be an opening for Perkz to shadow in and finish somebody else.
He's going to try it. He already went ahead and popped the ghost play, but Kikis on the top side looking to chase down Peke. He's dealing a whole lot of damage. He cut him off. That's a teleport. Can he get him down in time? It doesn't look like it. No, but Peke, safe under inner tower, has to back now.
And that's a TP down, so suddenly the flank is not as scary from Origen. Soaz also TP'd in.
There's no TPs left. For a little while anyways.
And what looked like a guaranteed game 5
Not so
is
sure.
slowly turning around to maybe getting closer to championship point for G2 Esports.
Definitely shown incredible tenacity. Their first split in the EU LCS. This is some incredible play to come back right into this one after a very bloody and rough start.
And now Kikis will have teleport before the 2 guys on the side of Origen, so he can go bot lane, push it out, start setting up for Baron if you are G2. Try and bait Origen into a bad fight where they don't have full vision of what is going on. And just protect this Caitlyn here as much as possible. Perkz is not going to dive for Lissandra. He can't really dive straight onto Sven. He can deal damage to him, but he won't be able to kill him. Might do that just to again buy time. Just get Sven out of the fight, because he's the consistent DPS on the side of Origen. Pekka will go in, ulti himself, then outlast himself, so he needs the AD carry next to him, dealing damage while he's buying time. If Perkz is able to sacrifice himself just to stop Sven from doing it, it's a win for G2.
Might indeed be, but it would be the longest. We've already passed 36 minutes. It's the longest game of this series. We know G2 like to play it fast and loose, and it might be once again inner tower going a little bit low. So I was trying to flank around the side, but Kikis has his number. And the rest of Origen are going to be able to clear out the wave, though, so no harm done here. Emperor steps forward. He's caught on a cocoon, but there is a quick QSS. Burns the flash and the net. Everything to get away from this one.
Origen overstepping here.
They might just push for it, looking for Kikis. He's racing out of the jungle, though.
Flash being down is huge for Origen here. You can body slam Flash now as Soas straight onto Emperor, knock him into your own team, and then suddenly he's down.
It changes the entire approach to the team fight, really, because that...
Such a big mistake, because Baron are alive now. The whole setup for G2 was push up top, set up Baron vision, and be ready to fight around it. Now suddenly Origen have the Baron control despite having no teleports.
Emperor can still play aggressively, though, if Hybrid just hovers right next to him and resets the Gragas if he goes for that play here. Immediate start on the Baron, though, for Origen.
Now let's see if G2 can do anything about this one. Teleport has started to channel on the bottom side. We might be in for another smite fight. In goes Perk. Trick is taken. Trick is a god! I cannot believe it! And now Origen are just going to fall back and forth. Emperor slain by Peke, however, so the fight may not be said and done. Amazing Will gets splatted on the back of that one, but so has double team on. Not before Perkz is able to come up with another pickup onto Sven. A 3-for-3 Baron to G2. Excuse me, 3-for-2. I got ahead of myself.
A lot of people jumping around left, right, and center. Baron's dying, and Trick, another hero steal, keeping G2 Esports in the game. Kikis was trapped in that Baron pit. 3 members from Origen had a quick glimpse at it. It's like, you know what? I think we're done here.
Yeah, Kikis now, just trying to zone out as Soaz. I can't believe this is just happening the way it is. G2 pick up a gold lead here. Still chasing down Peke, who has summoners back, but he burns. No flash.
That was very close.
Yeah, very, very. And meanwhile, Perkz is on the top side, just punishing this tower.
I think he's just buying time by chasing, stopping Pekka from ever recalling. Perkz has to run back now as well. But another situation where G2 are making a mistake, which then means Origen suddenly has a chance to actually take Baron and get more kills. But then they manage to get the Baron in another 50-50.
Yeah, Trick here really buying so much time for his team, and Origen is cornered in the top left part of the pitch, which gives a lot of access to a lead, and Hybrid kind of splits the fight up, gets the exhaust of the Sven, and he's just buying time here. Look at how close it becomes for Trick here at the right end of the fight between Expected. One more hit, and he can get Expected down, but a good Zhonya's kind of prevents that. It also shows you just how much damage Kiki does when he's left untouched.
Talk about beating the odds. Meanwhile, the gold has slowly slipped to the red side. G2 now pushing on this dragon. Will be their number 2. It will be a very long game if we end up seeing 5 dragons in this one, but it has been so back and forth, and finally teeter-totter swinging G2's way.
Still helps late game getting that burn on the towers. Now TP coming in from Origen.
And that is a fast Soaz around the side. Peke, though, he gets the Zhonya's on and will deny the death mark. No! He just mistimed it, and that is going to change everything! Now G2 on the chase with the Baron-empowered minions. Mythy, Sven, amazing. Soaz running as fast as they can. Back into base. There's still half a minute on Baron.
I can't believe Pekka just died.
All right, Demon.
We just died. Don't
Gonna be a
believe.
tower.
I wasn't Rob.
That's all good.
I was playing.
That's gonna be inhibitor turret. That's gonna be inhibitor. That's definitely gonna be Mythy. Perkz is dominating after an atrocious laning phase. He's 6-3. This is absolute insanity.
Yeah, that's half a second mistake that may cost them the game. Shadow Park is 3 seconds. Zhonya's 2.5.
The monsoon
Peke with the rookie mistake here. Origen under pressure.
Such a tense moment here. Origen trying to hang firm. Deathmark already back up. They turn their attention to Sven. Perkz going way too low. Oh, Perkz! He's gonna grab another kill. It's amazing. And Soaz, that's the last Nexus turret. That's gonna be it. We have a new king in Europe after all. 2015, they proved they were LCS material. 2016, they're top of the We thought it was going to be 5 games, but G2 had other plans. And 2 seconds, 1 second, half a second.
I'm so impressed with the way they're handling this game. Everything looked so poorly for their mid lane, the star player, going down so many times, and yet they keep it cool. Great shot calling, great reactions from this team. Get 2 Barons as well. And then in the end,
I mean, Kikis bought them so much time.
Kikis had a sick game.
Because if you look at the start of the season, he sometimes was learning, tank player only, low impact, but he bought so much time with that echo pick overall.
It is no longer a bad thing to be a tank player.
That's a good thing right now.
You are a top laner.
Definitely worked wonders for them, and there are so few words to describe how G2 hung in there.
God, how horrible this must feel for Origen, because they were at the brink of turning it all around.
But at the end of the day, G2 lifted.
And that's the dream. That's the dream for any player in Europe, to be able to lift that trophy. Has to be absolutely fantastic here for G2 Esports.
They earned every accolade we had.
Challenger team coming into the LCS. Pick up 2 new players and move your jungler to the top lane. Get a new coach in Youngbuck. And they deserve this so much.
Every step of the way, they proved that they were the best team EU had to offer.
This team was #1 almost every single week. They come into playoffs. They're like, okay, what can they do in the BO5? Well, they start taking down first Fnatic, 3-1. Going to the final. Take on Origen and another 3-1 by this team. Even some of the games where we're like, oh, this is really hard now for them.
Yep.
They managed to pull it out. And Perks in the end here ended up with 7 kills on this Zed. He was down 0-3.
And he comes right back into it. I mean, we talked so much about the blind pick turning around, and then, it's fine. It's just going to start picking up kills. Kick is going to buy him time. It's all going to be okay. And what an incredible second, third win just to finish this one off. That was, by the way, the longest game we've had for G2 in quite some time, about 41 minutes. They've lost 5 games over the total of the LCS. They have an average game time lower than everyone else. They just speed ran the LCS.
Yeah, but crushing defeat for Origen at the same time. But I think they can leave with held up high. Well, pretty much, because nobody expected them to even get to the final. If we go back like 3 or 4 weeks, nobody expected them, honestly, to challenge G2 to this close of a game. Okay, maybe after recent performances, but overall, looking back to the middle of the season, nobody thought they would be in this spot. And honestly, they were very close to making it in Game 5, and then anything could have happened yet again. So it was oh so close.
Oh yeah, this was such a huge expectation on them after we started seeing them win, but before it, no one saw this G2 team coming. And, you know, Origen, they were the heir apparent, and it came all down to it at the end of the day. The new kids on the block showed up.
Big stuff for Ocelot as well. Creating a G2 was actually a step behind Pekka. You know, he made Origen, top 4 worlds.
Several years before he could make LCS.
I mean, he kept trying, and people, people made fun of him. Like, he tried to get on the LCS with you on the roster. Okay, it didn't work, but I mean, persistence paid off.
Yeah.
Did some really solid choices with picking up Emperor.
Great scout.
And honestly, like, he had the MVP of the split in his team.
Yep.
Some rookies to build on Hybrid and Perks overall with some solid performances. Just a solid team.
Kept the strong core again, moved Kikis to the top lane, proved to be a good choice.
It was absolutely proved correct, and Kikis said, I can lane swap, it's no problem. Yeah. Apparently he can.
I'm a little afraid for MSI for some of these matchups, but that's maybe just too early to start
but it's going to be exciting no matter what.
I think this is a great team we can send to MSI, because I think you need to sometimes go in and try and match some of the aggressiveness we are expecting to see from LMS. If Rox Tigers goes from Korea, see G2 try and match it, and also learn from it. Because again, it's a young team. I think this team will gain a lot from going to MSI.
Absolutely. Well, with all said and done, though, and the new victors, we're going to send it to Pulse on stage to talk to the 2016 Spring Champions.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm here with 2 of the champions right here, and crowd favorites, I think, gentlemen. First off, I've got to talk to you, Hybrid, about the end of that game, because that was absolutely nutty as you got to the end of that one. And you guys turned it around through team fights in the very ending of that game. What was the emotion like on the team?
I mean, they were behind, like, pretty far. Everyone knew that we would win the game because our team comp was better, I think, and Lissandra was pretty strong, but I have exhaust for her every fight. Yeah, but everyone is so happy right now, that we won. And everyone kept being positive, so yeah, we won the game because of it.
That's awesome to hear. And Youngbuck as well, sitting behind the scenes, how was it for you watching your team just go ham on the stage today?
Well, I was very scared because the entire split I've been saying that I don't like set into Lissandra. And when Amazing helped him a lot, I thought we had a lot of trouble. But the team was consistently reassuring each other that the longer the game goes on, the more chance they have to win. And when they got a few team fights off and started winning, I was like, okay, they got this.
This is it. And also, I want to talk about stylistically, your team is very fast. Like, compared to yesterday, these games were extremely quick. And is this what you've been teaching those guys, or have you tried to mold the team around what they have individually as players?
I think I'm very lucky that my players are able to play pretty much every champion and that they know a lot about the game. I'm just there for them to tell me what they think about the game, and I just move it to the next person.
Well, you've done very well with the team. Congratulations, Youngbuck. And finally here, Hybrid, is there anything you want to say to your fans here in the Ahoy Arena?
Thanks everyone for coming. It means a lot for me. It's my first split, and I immediately won the LCS. So I'm really happy, and thanks everyone for coming.
I want to extend that as well to you, Youngbuck. In a second. Youngbuck, anything you want to say to the guys here in the arena?
Ja, ik wil iedereen graag bedanken voor jullie komst.
Well, thank you so much, guys, and taking the time to talk to me. Congratulations. We're going to send it back over to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Pulse and Hybrid and Youngbuck, just saying he wants to thank everyone for coming there in Dutch. Right at the end, you got to do that. Well, first off, to round things out, I think we have a very, very nice champion here, and I love the fact that we talked about history in the beginning of the series, and this is a new guard. This is a totally new team, and I think it's a great feat what they've done probably throughout the entire season, coming in from Challenger, from Zero, and now winning this whole thing.
Yeah, I actually really like they didn't really sway from their style at all. Like, we were up here on the desk like saying like, oh, this is a good pick and this is a bad pick, and they kept just doing what they liked. And it honestly ended up working out because they're making all these like, fights that are really hard to predict, and it's kind of like baits the enemy to make mistakes and like punishes it really hard.
Yeah, just a quick note, we will be going through some more interviews with the winners in a sec, but we can talk about the series and maybe the last game as well. You guys were giggling a little bit when they said, oh, well, we had a good draft, but then the Lissandra versus Zed discussion came up as well. Febby, what did you make of it?
I think the gamers 2 really got outdrafted here. Like, the Zed pick was, I think, really terrible picking into that. It was like 0-3, and I think OG could have won the game if they played it out solid. But Trick managed to steal 2 Nashors, and we know that OG is not good at closing out games. We saw it to the hills the whole playoffs, and even in scrims they are not good at it. And yeah, they just won fights, and then.
Yeah, and then it all goes wrong at the Barons as well. I mean, Amazing played pretty well this game as well, and to be honest, the series, but on the Elise, we were talking, just ran out of options. The Cocoons just couldn't quite find the right targets later on, and it slows Origen down, and G2 capitalized, rightly so, from some good fights.
Yeah, I mean, Amazing also had a great series, but in the end, Trick is incredibly consistent throughout all of that, and then those things are just those little touches of magic, of extra that you need, those steals as well. You guys are talking a lot about Perks, obviously. You're saying how he can win you the game, but he can completely throw it to you as well. What do you make of his performance overall?
I don't know, man. He's it's up to, he wants to make sure he's the one that like is the one typing FF for everyone else, or he's the one typing it for the enemy team. Like, he makes sure like, I'm gonna make this or break this game. And he kind of didn't calm down ever. Like, he's like 0-2, still using like W in lane aggressively.
Yeah, you just see how aggressive he plays, and even when he's 0-2, like he says, he's still playing aggressive, and yeah, he's really trying to carry, and it's good to see because the way he plays, it's really good a way to improve fast.
Well, I'm going to cut you off right there because I think we have the man himself standing by with Pulse.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm here with 2 more players from G2. I just had to speak to a couple more, and I actually want to follow that point from Fevin. You're super aggressive, and you were even more aggressive in this series, even in front of all these people here. So was that just a mentality coming into the one? You just want all-out aggression, Perks?
Well, you really, to make plays, you need to be aggressive. To put pressure, you need to be aggressive. So being aggressive as much as possible is always good. But then it kind of backfired a bit game 4 because it's the Sandra Elise combo. But yeah, I was really confident going into the series.
Very confident, but you were also against an exceptionally strong mid lane in two different mid lane as well. We heard earlier today in the feature that we had that you didn't really care who it was. So did that play out in the games, Perks?
I think they need more than 2 mid laners to defeat us. I'm kidding. I think they're both really good, and the game 4, Pekka actually really out-pressured me hard. Like, he made so many plays with Lissandra, they were like so far ahead, I don't even know how did we win. But yeah, I'm just happy that we won. I don't know.
Yeah, and it was a super entertaining series as well, Perks. Over to you, Kickers. Just going along the theme of just hyper-aggression, you guys were super aggressive, especially in game 1. You just came out of the gate swinging, but then OG kind of slowed you down. So what kind of happened in the series that you stopped being as fast as the first game?
Well, like going into the games, we knew we're gonna have 4 red sides, so we had like mostly like one plan of the draft going into the games. And after it worked, okay, we were like the second game, the bounce were the same, and they managed to like shape it up a bit and like catch us off guard, I guess. But like we managed to come back. Like no one was like afraid or scared that we lost one game, and we just kept going.
Okay, final one here, Kickers, as well. You didn't manage to win the Spring Championship last year, then you joined Challenger, and now you're here in the Yohoi Arena and managed to take it. What does that mean to you on that journey?
Honestly, it just means a lot. It means everything, because last year, like I was only like on the side looking at like Fnatic getting the trophy and having the trophy in my hands, and having the feel of winning, and us having opportunity to go to MSI and face international teams is just great, and I'm really happy for it.
Well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for the time you've given me, and congratulations on the win. We're going to send it back over to the LCS to close out the day.
Oh, they need more than 2 mid laners to beat us. Oh, classic Perks right there. Want to touch on what just Kiki's his emotion. I can totally understand that. What great from him, and he had a fantastic series overall. And throughout the split, there have been a lot of doubts about him, but especially the last game, he stepped up.
There have been, and you know, there is something to be said about individual performance, but then the meta fitting you and you are able to excel, and we're like, oh, he does play Echo, he can play these champions that maybe we didn't quite expect at first, but it's been a very successful move up to the top lane for him, so impressive to see how he came through Challenger, as Pulse was talking about, now into his first split on G2 in the LCS, and they win it.
Yeah, fantastic. And another individual performance that was really, really good in today's series. Trick left it all on the Rift and in the Baron pit with the title and a ticket to MSI on the line. Absolutely stepping up. 14 kills, 22 assists, and a whole lot of Baron steals in 4 games. He is our series MVP. And, you know, Perks had some really flashy moments indeed, and he said it himself there that they came back, but Trick was just incredibly consistent and proving once again why he is the MVP of the split, a great player.
Yeah, even like throughout the series, like even when he was like ganking bot lane, when bot lane's behind and stuff, he was trading his flash for like flash and heal and stuff. Like he was doing like really efficient plays that was actually like, getting parts of the map ahead that were kind of behind. And normally you want to play on your strong side, but they kind of said screw that and just play the way that they like, which is always playing around bot lane. So I'm glad that he didn't really get scared when things took a change, because their bot lane is pretty strong. But this whole series, I think. Niels and Mithy like outplayed them really hard in lane. So it was really good that they're just like, hey, like let's just keep laning 2v2 and we'll bring Trick down here and do something with it.
Yeah, fantastic, fantastic performance by them. Well, we were here in the Netherlands in Rotterdam yesterday. Fnatic manages to win it all with Febin on their team. Now we have Youngbuck and Hybrid there for G2 winning it all. What is in the air here, Febin?
Yeah, I'm a bit jelly actually.
Yeah, you could have lifted the trophy there, but yeah.
Not too bad.
Oh, no, you're not. The guys love you here. But we have a beautiful champion, and in addition to the Spring Championship for them, G2 Esports has taken a big step on the road to Worlds by banking 90 championship points, and I give 70 to Origen as well. What do we make of Origen's performance here? Better than expected if you look at the split.
Yeah.
But they were close.
Especially when you look at Origen midway through the split, we were like, okay, they're sat in 6th. We don't expect too much from them. IEM was rocky for them as well. They go away. Still came back looking a bit rough and suddenly found their form in playoffs. And it was good to see them find some of the form we saw from them last year. I still think they've got a long way to improve. And hopefully we'll see an even stronger Origen in summer.
You said we were just going to try and win the whole thing and go to Worlds straight. What do you think of the rest of the competition in the summer split of EU LCS? It's looking to be very exciting, very tight for those top 3 spots.
Yeah, the competition is already really tough right now. going into summer split, it's gonna be even harder. Like, I think even Origen is not even far away from G2. Like this, I think the series was really close. They should have won the last game, and then we would have had 5 games, and then the last game can go anywhere too. So it's like really close, all the teams.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's going to be summer split, so everyone's going to have the same mentality going in. It's going to be a bigger chunk of the pie towards Worlds. So I think everyone stepping up is going to get contagious with everyone tryharding a lot more. So I kind of just expect every team to step up a couple notches, and I think it's going to be like, I don't know, it's going to be a really, really like tight ship to get to the very top.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, the thing I'm interested in is how is G2's momentum going to keep going? They just got MVP, rookie coach, and the win of the split now, so there's not much more to pick up apart from maybe a perfect record for Bivin. Maybe they're hot on your heels on that one for summer. Too early to tell, I think.
We will see. We do know that the guys over in Las Vegas are getting set up for TSM versus CLG. One thing that we got to talk about quickly, though, is G2 Esports at MSI as the European representative. Although we saw really good things from him, I know you guys had a thing or two to say about some of the performances maybe. How do we think they can do overall, Febby?
Oh, I think they really have a shot at like really fighting the teams because they're really aggressive and they really team fight really good. But if they draft like they did today, I think they're just gonna get outclassed in the ban and pick phase because you're not gonna get away with this kind of comps against the better comps, and people are not gonna make silly mistakes and not get snowballed on, and I just think that's gonna be the difference.
Yeah, I agree with Febby. You know, they picked the Zed into Lissandra, and all it took was, you know, 2 Elise ganks to make that lane snowball like crazy. You know, so really simple things like, oh, their comp is built with Zed, you shut down Zed, you win the game. I think if they pick these like really one-dimensional comps that need a certain person to get ahead, they'll just focus that guy and he won't get ahead, and then they'll have like no strength in the comp.
I'm excited to see them up against the likes of what we expect to be the Rox Tigers coming out from Korea, because you see glimpses of the play style that G2 are trying to adapt. Nowhere near the same level, unfortunately, for our European representative. We'll see if they can level up to that, anywhere near that point coming into MSI. But I think it's a good matchup, at least for fans to be excited about.
We'll see if they can do better than Fnatic, the 5 games dream versus SKT. It was a very good performance. We're almost ready to go over to TSM versus CLG, but I do want to touch in with you guys because you've been tweeting up a storm all day, and one of those tweets comes from @MerchVerso. He thinks G2 is ready for the international stage and tweeted, they have shown their ability to adapt to the meta and know how to play when ahead and behind. Well, unfortunately, when you throw a game and then have to get it back in your hands, that's also not the ideal way.
It's just the same.
Yeah.
The way they call plays, it's always the same. Like, there's like 5 missing on the map, and they're like, we'll do Baron. It doesn't matter if they're 10K ahead or behind, that's the call that they'll make at that point.
Yeah, well, while things are said and done here in Europe until the summer split, the 2016 Mid-Season Invitational is just a few weeks away. The top teams from regions around the world will convene in Shanghai, China, the May 4th for a 2-week tournament with a lot on the line. And G2 will be joining the LMS's Flash Wolves as the first teams to qualify. Then the question is, of course, who will be the North American representative? If you listen to the crowd, it's TSM, but what do you think?
Yeah, I go with TSM. It pains me a little. They performed badly in the regular split, but they've got something now.
TSM.
TSM?
Bjergsen's my boy.
Okay, so we'll see what happens. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on the desk here in the Netherlands. Fevin, it must have been a great experience for you here.
Yeah, the crowd is amazing here, and I really want to play in my country again, and it's just something I will never forget in my life.
No, it was amazing here. Nederland, jullie zijn geweldig. Until then, that is all from us here in Europe. Before we send it to Las Vegas, is Mandalay Bay for the North American LCS Finals. Thank you so much for joining us throughout the 2016 European LCS Spring Split.
It's time to load up on his Summoner's Rift and kick off the 2016 LCS season. He sees him coming, and he should. I don't believe it. Triple into quadra kill.
I'm charging my
G2 will be. 1 or 2 more autos is all it needs. Oh!
Fnatic has been top 6 entire split long. Fnatic has been down the bottom entire season. And that's telling a lot because Fnatic's performance, it hasn't been the greatest.
Public expectations and internal expectations were that Origen could reclaim their former glory. But that's not what we saw.
I don't think the jungle changes are helpful for them. I think they're getting behind with it because they can't really build up synergy.
H2K finished the weekend undefeated.
I don't think anybody expected G2 to be this strong coming into the split.
G2 Esports are the best team in Europe.
Princess Ray needs his pillow.
Where is my second pillow? I am so triggered. I need my pillow.
Roccat, the Giants, and the Splice Boys requalifying for the summer split.
And with the lineups all locked in, it's time to see how these two shake out as we start our best-of-5 series to determine who is going to the semis. Spear is actually going to walk away, and Cobbishar's going to have to dash. And look at those health bars! Oh my lord! We'll see them in Rotterdam, and I cannot wait.
And Origen will be performing a clean sweep. They keep their hopes of another final alive.
And we are into game 1 of this best of 5 with Origen and H2K taking to the Rift.
Origen! Origen! The Nexus turret is going down, and against all odds, Origen take down H2K and are your first finalists in the Spring Splits.
And it's time to see if the new kids on the block can take on the reigning European champions. Kick back, oh, Emperor! He's able to get out of this one! Fnatic with the 1-1 to even the series.
Even though they look good, I think we look much better.
Fnatic melting, the game is over. GG, the red hot rookies will knock off the reigning champs en route to a spring showdown in Rotterdam.
Welcome to the 2016 LCS Spring Finals, coming to you live from the Ahoy in Rotterdam.
Turns and he keeps on. Whoa! Holy moly! They demolish Origen. He's gonna get there in time. He jumps in and he finished! Oh my goodness! That's the last Nexus turret. That's gonna be it. We have a new king in Europe after all. 2015, they proved they were LCS material. 2016, they're